Joining us today are our guests. In London, Osama Qashoo, a spokesperson for Free Gaza, an international political organisation that is determined to break the Israeli siege on Gaza. Also in London, Jeremy Corbyn, a Labour Member of Parliament and a staunch supporter of the Stop the War campaign. And in New York, Joshua Moravchik, an influential neoconservative writer and a resident scholar at the American Enterprise Institute. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Jeremy Corbyn, if I can begin with you. You've attended these protests. What is the mood amongst the people there? How do they feel about what's happening in Gaza?
I was amazed at the size of the demonstrations we've had. We've had two in London on successive Saturdays, and last Saturday's one attracted probably 100,000 people, the previous one about 60,000. The mood was one of disbelief that Israel would continue with the bombardment of Gaza even after the UN Security Council resolution, and disbelief that there would be the use of illegal weapons by Israel in the Gaza Strip, that there would be the destruction of civilian targets like schools, and there would be so many children killed as a result of it. There's just a sense of unbelievable anger. As a constituency member of Parliament, I've had more emails on this subject than anything else over the past 2 weeks, and that is unusual in any kind of international issue. And the people in this country are very upset, very angry, and are looking to their own government to do far more about it. The demonstrations are having an effect. The results in Parliament yesterday were there was far more strident criticism of Israel than I've ever known before, and the newspapers are beginning to take it up in a much more direct way than they were before.
Well, Osama Qashoo, I can see you nodding your head there. Do you agree that these protests have had quite a considerable impact on public opinion?
I absolutely agree. I think protests and demonstrations across the world are very important for both the attackers and for the people under attack. It's very important that we get the voice of these people into the streets of all the countries across the world. And it's also very important to send this solidarity message into the people who's, falling under the attack of the Israeli army, especially in the Gaza Strip, that we are with you. We have to make our voice heard, and we can't just keep staring at the screens in the houses.
Joshua Moravchik, how does Israel feel about these demonstrations? Do you think Israel cares about what this is doing to their image, to their standing in the world?
Well, I'm sure that Israelis feel, in some sense, hurt by this sort of willful refusal of so many people around the world to look honestly and objectively at this crisis and to look fairly at it. Israel is engaged in a pure act of self-defense. Israel withdrew from Gaza in 2005 entirely. There's no occupation of Gaza.
There's no occupation of Gaza, but many argue that actually, despite officially withdrawing from Gaza, Israel retained control of the borders of the airspace.
Well, that's true, because it had a concern for its own security, but there was plenty of traffic across those borders until the people in Gaza, or some of the people in Gaza, primarily Hamas, began, first of all, to attack the border crossings themselves in suicide missions to try to kill the border supervisors as well as people crossing the borders, and also the fact that from the day that Israel withdrew from Gaza, rockets began to fly out of Gaza into Israel every single day. There was not a day that went by since Israel withdrew from Gaza that there haven't been rocket fire into Israel.
Some would argue that that has something to do with an 18-month blockade of Gaza that was starving 1.5 million people.
No, that's nonsense.
Okay, Joshua, let me put some of what you said.
There was no blockade. There was no